I can't talk now. I'm in a meeting, okay? Yeah. So, where was I? Okay. So what I'm saying is that I'm suggesting that we have to start forming our team, the Genesis team. We have monthly meetings, a certain day, a certain time, the same way we have the regular executive meetings. But we have 2 meetings a month. One could be online, the other one must be informal and together, where we meet and informally we discuss things, but we don't have to discuss everything about a lot more informal. Can I get feedback on that?
Go ahead.
No, I mean, anybody have any?
I actually think that's a great idea. I think it would be a good team building exercise. And I also think it would be a good way to form teams, right. Especially at the informal meeting. People might feel a little more relaxed and more at ease to want to volunteer for certain things. So I think that's a pretty good idea. And to be honest, Genesis 1 doesn't have a lot of, if any, kind of social meeting outside of our formal club meetings and executive meetings. So I think it would be a very refreshing initiative.
Thank you. I think so too. Sandra? DTM Sandra.
I think it would also build relationship, right? And the success of our club depends on the relationship of the persons in the club. So meeting informally will definitely improve our relationship status quo, and I think it will go well for the club.
Hi, morning everybody. Happy Emancipation. I think I like the idea of meeting informally, because then people might be able to share more. They might feel freer to share. But 2 meetings plus 2 club meetings, so that's 4 meetings for the month. For me personally, that is challenging. So I would be missing in action for some of those meetings. But it's a great idea, and let's try it and see.
Okay. So we can agree with what we have to do is decide on what day and what time and where. I mean, we don't have to do it all right away, but it'd be good to come out of this meeting, because we'll meet on, well, the first executive meeting is first Wednesday of every month.
First executive meeting is Wednesday.
The first Wednesday of every month, right?
Yes.
So why don't we try to make like the last Saturday of the month or something?
Last Saturday. Okay. As an informal meeting.
Yeah, informal meeting.
Yeah.
No.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I understand that, not everybody will be able to make it, but even online, everybody is not able to make it for some reason. There's always a reason why somebody can't make that meeting, and I understand that, because it's just a fact of life, and it's how we live, and we put priorities on certain things, and we do it, or we don't.
Yeah.
So I am saying let's set it, let's do it, and let's move forward with that.
Hi, Tony. Morning again. If the meeting is the last Saturday, and the last Saturday is the 4th Saturday of the month, that is Visionary Leaders face-to-face meeting. So depending on the time of this, I would not be able to make it. Or I might be able to make some and not make others.
Yeah, we understand. And, I can appreciate that. But what I of attendance.
But the show must go on. Yes, I agree. The show must go on.
And I know some people can't do it. I mean, and not that they don't want to, is that it conflicts with something that they're doing. And I have to understand that. We have to understand that. But we can't be jumping all over the place and trying to fit. Even this meeting, I try to give people options. And we find that people have other things to do. I have to understand that. And I wish more people was in the meeting, but we just have to set a meeting and get it done. Because if not, we'll just keep going on and on and on and on. Okay, so we'll set the last Saturday of the month, we'll have an informal meeting. We'll figure out the venue and take it from there.
Yeah. You just have to remember social distancing.
Yeah, it will be only
when we have that meeting.
well, you know, this
We,
is,
we would be within the band, because if it's 7 of us, because the limit is 10, right? So we would be within it. So
yeah,
we
so
just have to,
that I thought about too. We wouldn't have to worry about,
yeah.
you know, having 10
Yeah.
people coming to meetings.
Okay.
Okay. The next item I had on the agenda was quality meetings. You know, it is important as an executive to have quality meetings, because meetings, even online, if they look shaky, people don't want to come back to those meetings. And they look shaky when we have role players who don't know their roles and start mumbling through their roles. It looks shaky, especially when you have guests who never came to a Toastmaster meeting, and they find that, you know, these people, like, they don't know what they're doing. So I want to opt in that every meeting, before every meeting, we have a dry run, especially for people who have not done a role before, and they must have to do that, because to come on the meeting, and you can't blame the person for not knowing, because it's their first time, and you know, it's just, you don't know what they expect, and you should be able to expect, you know what will come. So I'm saying we have dry runs for people like the role players, not for the speakers, uh, maybe for the evaluators, but we have dry runs so that, and if it's a day before, it could be even before the meeting, even a half an hour before the meeting. But we have to have these things, because you can't just expect people to perform and then all of a sudden they're not doing what they're supposed to do, and they can't do this and can't do that. I have one girl, what's her name? Merlin. I talked to her. And she's doing the R counter role the next meeting. And she was acting, because I decided I'm gonna mentor her, because she was out there swinging in like swinging in the wind. I looked at her; she wasn't registered on Pathways. And when I spoke to her, she told me that she wants to finish. She wants to finish her thesis or something. She's doing a PhD or something like that. You know what, Sandra? Yeah. But I explained to her that, you know, Toastmaster will help her with that, and that she needs to get in and start making some speeches, because having to do a thesis, you'll eventually have to do a presentation. So get ready with your presentation. That's how you practice for your presentation, and that's why you join Toastmasters. So she jumps in, but then I sent her the counter script. There's a script that she can use for the counter, and try to help her. But the thing is, I told her also that we will have a dry run before the meeting. So she said, great, she will feel more comfortable that way. But if she had gone in the meeting, she would have been so nervous. And I don't know what she would have said, but nervousness, what is it? When you practice, you get confidence. When you don't, you're nervous. So just have a practice, and we'll do that dry run before Friday's meeting, right? Okay, and so the point I want to make here is that we need to do things to have quality meetings. And we have to look at, you know, like, who's that? Toastmaster Sealy was saying, quality meetings. How do we have quality? We start measuring what we're doing, because we can't be just saying, well, this happened and that happened the other day. And no, we can't be doing that, because this is something that we could measure. We could say, okay, what are we going to measure? What are we going to look at? You know, are we going to look at the number of people come to our meetings to decide if we have a quality meeting, or are we going to look at how the meeting, what criteria can we use to come up with a quality meeting in Genesis 1? What would you suggest, Sandra? Stacey?
Well, you know, we could, instead of inventing the wheel, there is a metric that we can use, which I will get and share with the club. It's actually the metrics that they use for Napoyo. We have a metric, things like whether the meeting starts on time, you know, whether the guests are greeted warmly, you know, people signing the register, people wearing their pins. There's a whole lot of stuff that is measured. And then that's the role of the secretary. So I'll try to share it. I'll try to get it and share it. But if there's anything else that somebody might think about in terms of measuring the meeting, right? We could incorporate that as well. But the key thing to me is starting the meeting on time. Because if you invite guests to a meeting and you tell them the meeting starting at such and such a time, and Toastmasters is about managing your time. That's why everything is time. Your speech is time. When you speak, when you do table topics, everything is time. So when you start late, I mean, that doesn't give a good impression to a guest now coming into the club. It looks as though you're not prepared and you're unsure of what is to happen, and your role players that are wrong and things like that. So key for me is starting on time, and having everybody know their roles and so on. So I agree with that. I could get that template and share it at our next executive meeting, which is next Wednesday. Or I'll probably share it before so people could see it, and then we discuss it at the next meeting.
I think starting on time and finishing on time.
On time, yeah.
Is important. And what we could also do is go through the moments of truth.
Yeah.
Because when the ADs come through, that's what they're going to be looking at, and the whole breakdown. So I think the moment of truth would be a good place as well to see all the different things that we need to have in place.
When we can do the exercise, the moment of truth?
There's a speech. There's a presentation on the moment of truth, in Toastmasters.
The Better Club series?
No, the Advanced Communication series.
Well, we should try to do that, because we need to have more quality meetings. Yeah. And
because it's not only about starting on time. There are things like the agenda going out on time, the role players, all those things. Yeah. Yeah.
So we need
that's a good point.
So before we leave that topic, what can we say we will do to have a quality meeting? We will do. What can we say we will do to have a quality meeting going forward? You said you will share the template.
I am going to share the template. Okay.
What are we going to do? What action are we going to take?
In terms of
one of the actions I am suggesting is that we do have that dry run.
Yeah.
Every meeting. I think that is important, because that way you take care of that confidence issue.
Dry run for the meeting.
Dry run and measuring something. I understand starting, to me, starting the meeting on time, it should be a given. I mean, this is what we do, and every time we don't start on time, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
We have to start, at the Inspired Speakers, sometimes we start meeting with 4 people there, because our intention is to start on time.
On time.
Yeah, somebody may speak longer to get time for people to come in, but we always try to start on time.
On time, yeah.
3 or 4 people. Even in this meeting here, I'm sorry, I was late trying to get in, but we start on time. That's a part of what we learn. Some of the things, other things that we learn too, because you see, I see Toastmasters, not just the public speaking aspect of it, but when you look at it, time on, being on time, it takes an effort from you. It takes a concentration that you have to concentrate, on getting there on time. So it makes you learn how to get on time. But the other things that you learn is like having a meeting. When you have a meeting, you have to set an agenda. You don't just have a meeting, because when you have a meeting without an agenda, that's what Toastmaster teaches. And teaches that when you have a meeting, you don't just sit down and have a meeting. That's a lie. You come up with you come up with different ideas. People throw up different things, but it's not a meeting. And people don't value that what you get when you join Toastmasters. It's not just about the speaking. When you learn how to coordinate a meeting, how to chair a meeting, how to have a productive meeting, and we waste so much time on meetings that we don't have productive meetings. So let us say the metric that we'll use beside the starting and finishing on time, because as Toastmasters, I think that's given. I think a metric that we could use is, I think, participation. because that's something in the club that I see even on the executive chat. We have people not willing to say something. You know, we are a communication club. We are supposed to communicate our ideas. We should feel free and confident enough to say, hey, might not be right, be wrong, very wrong, but at least somebody will tell us. They'll say you're wrong. And I could appreciate that, because in my head, I'm right. And I put it out there and somebody say you're wrong. And I say, well, maybe I'm wrong. And I check myself and maybe I'm wrong. But this is where we are. And even on the WhatsApp chat, we have people not even willing to communicate. We are a communication club. We should be the first to, you know, rush in to say something. But I notice in all the chats, people quietly, they read and they read and they go away. And it's not like you don't know, everybody sees it, because it's WhatsApp. Everybody is WhatsApp, you know? And you tell yourself, well, okay, how are we going to deal with that? We need to communicate more. We need to, well, and I'm hoping that when we form our team, when we really form a team, we can communicate more, right? And so let us look at that metric: participation. Participation in WhatsApp, participation in the group, participation in the meetings. Can we agree on that metric?
One of the rules is that people respond to the chat and people respond to emails.
Yeah.
Right? So if something is put out in the chat, people could say, agreed, acknowledge, thank you, and then you know people saw it. But you know they're seeing it and they're not saying anything.
Right.
All right? So it's the same thing with if you send an email. How do we know that somebody gets an email? Because you say acknowledge, receive with thanks or something like that. And then you know the word is out there among everybody. But if people see emails and they don't read it, or they read it and they don't say, I've read it, then how do you know?
Okay.
You know?
So let us use participation as a metric. We start looking at how many people participate as to how the quality of our club. Because if we only have 2 or 3 people participate, our club is not operating the way we should operate as a communication club.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll use that metric and we'll use the driver.
Yeah, participation, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next item. We have the club success plan. Sandra, I'll yield the floor to you on that club success plan, because my thinking is that should have, you know, we should be, all the members should be on that now.
Yes.
Okay.
So the club success plan, normally the VP Ed would take charge of that, but it's not only the VP Ed. Every single member of the executive has a part to play in terms of the club success plan. And let me see if I can put it up. I had it here a little while ago. Just a minute. Right. So the plan would have been sent out to everybody. I'm not sure everybody has access to it, but it would have been sent out to everybody. And let me just, I have so many things. Can't even, okay, so it's a booklet. I'm going to,
But
will you allow me to share? Will I be able to share?
yeah, I think you can share. But here's what I'm thinking, right? Because I personally don't want to go over this success plan right now.
Alrighty.
All
right. So I just say is that it's every single executive member has a part to play, because it's sectioned off in such a way that each person has to say what is their plan going forward for the year, right? And there are specific questions that is being asked of the particular executive, how they plan to do this, how they plan to do that. So what could happen is I will as VP, I'd make sure that everybody, this would have sent out before, but I'll send it again to all the executive members and ask them to, because we all have to sign off on that plan at the end of the day.
Right.
So it means by Wednesday, we should be discussing what each executive is supposed to be doing and signing off on it. Because when the area director comes on Friday, the area director is going to be looking for that club success plan.
Okay.
Right?
So can you send it out and let's maybe on the chat or somewhere get in touch with the people, let them know that we need to do.
Yeah, so I'm going to send it out today, and in the chat I'll ask people to please respond to say that they have received it and to go through their section, because that is what is going to be discussed on Wednesday. On Wednesday we will be making the decisions, because just as I could go on it and type in all this stuff, that's what I'll probably do while we make the decision, type it in one time so that it's available and ready for everybody.
Okay, that works.
All right. Okay.
And I think the last item I had on the agenda was everybody recruits one person. I like the idea of having to recruit one person. And I'm thinking we can't ask the membership to do it if we can't do it. So I'm thinking, you know, let us make an effort to do that. Let us make an effort to recruit somebody, you know, and put it through the executives first. I mean, you know, I don't know anybody right now that I could recruit, but I could start thinking of it. I don't think about it. I don't try to push it, right? But if we think about it, everybody can recruit one person if you want to get the club numbers up on the club, okay? And I just wanted to put that out there and let everybody know that's the standard we're looking for. At least one person for the executive for the entire year. Just bring one person in, one person a year. And if you get everybody in the club to do one person a year, we will be doing good. You know, just one person.
So Tony, there's we have a guest chat, and there are people there in that chat would be members. I cannot remember if I made you an administrator on the chat, but maybe I should.
I haven't had access to that chat.
Right, so that you could reach out to those persons. There are persons, there are about 4 persons that Toastmasters International sent to us who was looking for a club to join. And they came, 3 of them came to past meetings. Okay. All right. So they're there and they get the link to come back to the meeting. Right?
The chat. I will
yeah. So those are people who are potential people who want to join the club, you know, but they just come into the meeting to see, you know, one guy in particular, he comes to the meeting, but he wants to meet face to face. Yeah. That is his thing, you know.
And sometimes you just need to talk to people, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, give me access to that chat.
Yeah.
I am not.
Yeah. Stacy is also Stacy was the one who really encouraged us to open that guest chat, because I think Stacy is also an administrator on that chat, and she would have invited a lot of people into it. So I will put you on as an administrator, and so that you can see the folks in there and you can reach out to them, you know.
Yeah, I had a question on the last item I have on the agenda, because that will add me to, oh, time is running out. We have 10 minutes left. We should be able to wrap this up in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Last item I had a WhatsApp chat. On the executive, I see 11 members. Why do we have 11 members there?
Well, there, we would have had 11 members because people like the area director, the past area director, and the coaches, they were on the executive before.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Oh.
I think it's going down now because Sandra was on before. She would have left. Diane left. Yeah, so that we can go in and fix that.
Okay. Well,
all right.
That is okay. I just had a question.
Yeah, it was 11 persons because we had some how you call those members oh, I forget what you call those when you invite somebody to on your executive. There's a name for it. I've forgotten the name, but they were there given. So like the area director would have come on and, you know, kind of see what we're doing kind of things. And, you know.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I did, we did the Facebook page
Mm-hmm.
We have our email. I put I don't do Instagram. I mean, that's why I need to talk to Naomi
Mm-hmm.
to do this, because we have to do this together. I've been doing it because we haven't been communicating, but I need to communicate with you, Naomi, so we could set that up. We need to get a what we call a schedule that we could put on the Facebook. We can actually schedule the meeting so that they just pop up just before the time of the meeting, and we don't have to keep going back there and doing it. But we could do some things there that, because a lot of people come through Facebook. We get a lot of contacts through Facebook. I also set up an autoresponder, I believe. I think an autoresponder that we can capture some names, because we need to start having a database that we can get, if you have like Inspired Speakers, you had 400 people on a database. So with 400 people, when you're having a meeting, if you send out a broadcast, you may get 3 or 4 of them. It's okay. You wouldn't have them anyhow. You may get 3 or 4 of them coming in the meeting and join. So we need to have that set up. And I want to work with Naomi, because that's part of what Naomi.
That's key.
That's why I've been behind you, and I'm bothering you and calling you and texting you, and that's why. Okay, so meet with me. Let us get that going, because we need to get that going. Okay. Does anybody else?
We also need to because we're not meeting face to face, and we don't have like a register as such. We need to have somehow to register people when they come to meetings, club members and our guests.
Yeah, you can use Turbo. No, not Turbo. Turbo Base will do club members, but not guests.
No.
Yeah.
I saw there's a what you call it, a link that comes up at the beginning of the meeting where you ask people to sign in with their names and address, and that's how you know.
Yes,
so I think that is something that we could we could incorporate. Yeah. So I am not sure how it is done, but I see it being done in certain meetings. I saw it in last week, Napoya's meeting. So I'm going to get that, and we'll institute that here. So as you come on to the meeting, it's in the chat, and you ask people to please go on and register, and it asks for things like your name, your email, your telephone contact, and things like that.
Okay, so we have pretty much. If anybody else have anything to add, Stacy,
that's it.
Naomi.
Good. Enjoy your holiday.
Okay. With that, we can end the meeting, and we see on Tuesday. The things that we discuss here, we have to put it out to the other members.
Yes.
Put it on. Well, I put it on the chat. They will know, but they wouldn't say anything. But we have to change those things. I don't know how we change little by little.
You want to send the recording to the executive members so they can hear what was discussed in the meeting?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, and then you know, you'd have to go back and type out what was said, or send the recording and say this was discussed. So look out for the club success plan, because I said that in the meeting. I'm going to send that out. We talked about meeting, the extra meeting, and all that, so they will hear all that. And we could simply ask them to, when they view that, please respond in the chat or let us know their thoughts on it, because this is what we're going to be doing going forward.
Oh, we'll do.
Yeah.
So let's end this.
Alrighty. Right. Okay. Thanks, Tony. Alrighty.
Right,
take care. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you very much.
Alrighty.
Naomi, get in touch with me, okay? Naomi.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.